Matthew Harvey with the 12 o'clock siren, recording live here at the 903 Broadband Studios at Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On the phone is my buddy James North Pole Hartley.
That's what they call me, North Pole. Here's the difference if y'all don't have to, all right? And on my spiritual left, we got Jason Fuller.
Yeah, what's up? I'm in the same chair.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like a disembodied voice there, huh?
Yeah, we have
We can hear you. I'm turning you up, actually.
we have a homemade doll in your chair, actually.
It's probably fitter than me. Yeah, guys, I'm going to tell you, Alaska is a must-see.
Yeah.
Where exactly are you?
So I came up here with my guard unit to Eielson Air Force Base and Fort Wainwright, and those two installations are in Fairbanks, or right outside of Fairbanks. So it's like central Alaska, kind of.
Okay.
Oh, right on.
Cool.
Yeah.
And the temp is?
I think right now it's around negative 15. When we showed up the first day I got here, it was negative 28.
Wowza.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever experienced anything like that, and it is cold.
Jeez.
So,
I think I might have to see that in the summertime.
well, apparently you either deal with the cold in the summertime or the mosquitoes, or excuse me, wintertime or the mosquitoes in the summertime.
Yeesh. They're like pterodactyls up there, right?
They call them the state bird.
Wow. Well, hey,
Yeah.
a guy walks in the bar, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
He says, "What's the password?" Bartender says, "You need to buy a drink first." He says, "Okay, I'll have a Coke." Bartender says, "Is Pepsi okay?" Guy says, "Sure. How much is that?" He says, $3. Guy says, "There you go. So what's the Wi-Fi password?" He goes, "You need to buy a drink. No spaces, all lowercase."
Ouch.
That's good.
Burn.
That's good.
Well, you can't see this,
Well-
James, but we have somebody on my right.
Yeah, we have
Jason's left.
a special guest here today. Somebody we've been trying to get for a while.
Former Leonard High School graduate, owner of JNL Construction, Mr. Justin Perry. Howdy, buddy.
How are you guys?
What's
Welcome,
up,
welcome.
Justin?
I appreciate you guys finally getting me on.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've talked about it for a while. You just didn't know.
James, you hearing him on there?
Absolutely.
All right, good. This is our first phone interview we've done here with James on the phone from Alaska, so you're in new territory, Justin.
Uncharted waters, so to speak, huh?
Yep, it's a first.
It is.
I like it. This will leave a stamp permanently then on here for us, huh? Momentous occasion today, huh?
Yep, and second with YouTube and audio as well, James. You can't see that, but you're on YouTube.
Oh, we going? We filming?
Yep, we're filming too.
Yeah, this might change the game, dude. We might start doing this stuff from home, all of us.
Yeah, it's like remote office work. Man.
When you get those Oculus glasses, that's probably what we will be doing.
Exactly. Well, Justin, thanks for coming on, man. I'm probably about to dip out of here, so I will let y'all get back to it. But I appreciate you coming on and what you do for the community and everything. I know the guys there are excited about having you on as well.
Well, thanks, James. I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you do for our country over there for sure, buddy. And we'll definitely catch up when you get back over here in the continental United States.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Over and out, Mr. James Hartley.
See you, brother.
See ya.
There he goes.
Doot, doot, doot. Doot, doot, doot. That was actually real. That wasn't a sound bit or anything.
Yeah. We have a lot of drops, but not that one.
That was cool. I didn't know how that worked, so that worked out really well.
All right, so we got Justin Perry, owner-operator of JNL Roofing Contractors here in Leonard, Texas. Justin, what's up, man? Tell us about JNL. How did that start?
Well, I'll tell you what. I worked for another construction company that I cut my teeth with for about 7-8 years. And I worked my way from the basically a leak technician, if that's what they call them over there at that point in time. And then I worked my way up to the business development side on the sales side.
Sure.
And by the time I was done, I had 7 guys underneath me. And
Wow. So you learned every aspect of the business.
I learned from roof crawling to the internal works of it over there.
Right.
Or I thought I had learned everything that I needed to know.
Decking.
Yeah. Everything. And I was just having a story the other day. I mean, it started out as a roofing company on both places over here. And then we morphed into, you start adding additional things that services.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. You handed me a koozie and a pen when you walked in, and it says JNL Roofing Contractors, but you guys do a little bit of everything, right?
A little bit of everything. We've morphed into a full-blown GC, and that can hurt you, or it can help
Sure.
you and hurt you in both ways. It's kind of a catch-22, but I'm blessed. First of all, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak to both of you guys over here.
Hey, yeah, we're glad to have you.
I appreciate you reaching out to me because it's a good story, that I'll tell. I hope everybody can basically understand the same way that I'm going to explain it. But I work for another company. Some things went from the wayside over there, and I felt like, this is an opportunity for me to possibly open up the doors for my own thing. I'm married, got 2 kids.
Use your experience.
Use my experience,
Right.
and we started out of office and just straight out of the kitchen. I worked from the kitchen table, and that is the hardest thing, guys, I'm going to tell you to do is to try to separate work from normal day-to-day activities. It's almost impossible in your own house. So anyway, we went through the rigmarole of that, the ups and downs inside the house. I finally rented a little suite up here on the square, or up on the on Highway 69 over there.
So just typical growing pains was starting to
growing pains. Me and one other guy, and my wife doing the accounting stuff.
Right.
And then I had a non-compete for over 2 years from the past company that I worked for. And so it really lit a fire underneath me, a motivational fire, should I say, to go out and establish my whole new clientele. So multifamily, the apartment world is where 90% of our business is.
Is that roofing?
Roofing, construction, welding, everything
Overall.
over there. Yes, sir. Yep. And we started doing that, and then it morphed into, like I said, this whole other side. And then we got the opportunity to open up the little suite up there. I talked to some guys coming up from the past company that I'd worked with. I went over there, and they knew, okay, hey, if Justin's serious about this, then I think we can get him at the right time.
And these are guys that you already knew and you trusted.
They are. A lot of them were friends of mine that I'd either known for years, similar to you guys, but they were in the same trade that I was or worked with me over there at that past company. And anyway, they came over. We started kicking it in a butt. We had my first year was 2013. I got about half that year in, Matt. And then after that, I just was able to add to it and start building a little bit. 1 or 2 people came. 1 or 2 people I needed over here, 1 or 2 people over here. I got Brandon to come in on the office side with me.
Right.
I've got Kerry to come in. I think he's been on the show for sure. I know Kenneth.
Yeah, we've had Kerry and Kenneth on. We want to have Brandon.
A couple of your folks.
We'd like to have a lot of the guys.
We had some jacuzzis up here, but they've disappeared.
Well, that's good. Y'all are putting them to use.
They're probably at my
That's
house.
different. Well, I think we've used
I
them
like
in
the
the
green
scavenger
ones. I like the
hunts.
color of the green ones. I always take those.
I put them in the scavenger hunt. So
Yeah.
Appreciate
that's
it.
what
Appreciate the advertisement.
Yeah.
And we started doing that, guys. And I'll be honest with you, I've got about 17 employees that work for me now full time.
So what's it like taking that leap from a paid employee to running your own business? It's got to be kind of scary, right? You're putting all your eggs in that basket.
I don't know how in depth you want me to get.
No,
on
you
the
don't
show,
have just.
But I'll just say this: I had some money put back when I started this company. The scariest part of it was that I was trying to start a business with that money, and then I was trying to survive off of that money.
Right.
And when that nest egg that you got built up starts dwindling down, and this is all about getting a wheel turning and
that's when
revolving.
motivation happens too.
Yeah, I'm sure Matthew can probably relate. He's an entrepreneur too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At some point, this has to work.
It has to, or or I'm done. I've got to go back and change really quick, And luckily, and God on my side, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't have done it, And I'll tell you what, we actually, I say this in a positive way. There were some good things that came out of the non-compete thing, like you said, Matt. It really did just put the fire in my belly on there. And listen, I grew up in this town. I've lived here since I was around 14 years old. I graduated here, like you said, from Leonard High School. I'm proud to be part of this community. Now, I mean, I wasn't much growing up over there. Jason can probably vouch for that, But listen, it's all about what you make yourself over here, and I'm blessed for sure, to say the least. But it was just such a great opportunity and a great group of guys that's over there that I have built my team around. And that's what we are, is just team
Right.
oriented.
And to fill a otherwise maybe vacant building up there too.
You
know,
exactly
You're
right.
paying somebody's rent, and that's going around, and there's somebody coming in and out of your parking lot, and they're probably
Right.
gonna have lunch. And it all kind of works out.
Yeah, you have a good location. But you touched on it a while ago that it's a good story. It is a good story for those Leonardites or anybody that's listening. If you're thinking about starting your own business, Justin, through hard work and I guess the right team, has had a lot of success pretty early on for a young business owner.
Yeah, they're what they call an anomaly.
Yeah.
So paint a little picture, maybe. You're
How old are you now, Justin?
I just turned 42.
Oh, okay.
you're not employed by your former employer, and you're gonna start this business. What kind of equipment do you have, and resources, and what are you looking to make those first purchases to get going? What are those things that you're looking at the time?
Well, of course,
Barriers of entry, I guess you could say.
in this world, the multifamily world where we're set up over here, I'll tell
Mostly
you
subcontract and stuff, right?
well, the extreme cost of the business, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is the insurance.
Insurance and
It's outrageous,
My dad's gonna laugh because every time I have a good idea, I always say it just wears me out when somebody says, "Yeah, but the insurance." And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, now I understand what he means and why everybody says that. But my God, insurance.
I can't speak to that, and we certainly won't ask you any numbers. But I'm an electrician, and the company I used to work for was a pretty big outfit. We employed over 100 guys, and they were getting very heavy into the multifamily stuff. And just about any contractor I know worth anything at all is getting into multifamily. There's bigger profit margins. It seems like you roll right out of one right into the next. But I've heard stories of needing to be worth 1.5 mil or this and that, and have this much just to even get your foot in the door.
Well, a lot of for us to even become a vendor and step foot on a lot of these properties, you're required to have this type of policy in effect, from workman's comp through the whole insurance process. I don't want to bore you with that over there. But what we ended up doing was, some of my biggest clients over there actually wanted you to carry a $5 million excess liability policy.
Wow.
Well, that normally meets or exceeds anybody else that you're going to do work in that industry. But there was a substantial cost associated with that policy. I'll be honest with you, that was some of the most unforeseen cost, Matthew, starting
daunting
up
too, because you're about to get.
Well, you can't do any work without getting the insurance.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stuck there, But in my business over here, I mean, yes, to have the equipment, the necessary stuff, the sky tracks, the dump trailers, the skid steers, if you will, over there. I mean, everything that we've done over there. I mean, yes, the lifts, scissor lifts, bucket lifts. Listen, a lot of that stuff is accumulated over time.
Yeah.
And it's beneficial, because then you can cut your cost to your customer too, if you own some of that stuff. You want to recoup some of it, just like everything, but we want to also be able to provide the services that we're selling, and that's what's really clicked us up to the next level, because we went from the roofing into the welding, into the construction world, and then now, of course, this metal building thing that just took off for us here recently.
That's huge, especially here in Texas.
So we built some barn dominiums here lately, some in Trenton, our neighboring town over here, for Stufflebean. Matt, don't you?
Yeah.
We just finished his over there. And listen, it's, there's a lot of learning curves associated with it, your ups and downs, But again, I was able to surround myself, guys, with knowledgeable people that outweighed me. Just because I'm the owner doesn't mean that I know everything. And that's one thing where you make a common mistake in this industry, is trying to basically overstep your boundaries on something. And that's one thing that keeps me grounded is, my patience, should I say, guys, over the last 10, 15 years has really, really, I think about situations more than I do just react to them emotionally. And in this business, you have to. You have to, Jason. Yeah. You're exactly right. And so otherwise it's gonna break you, Yeah. But listen, if you get your right people surrounded with you over here and things start falling into place, like I said, I didn't really invent these other sides, or should I say add these additional sides to my company over here, with the fact of thinking, okay, hey, this is gonna be a moneymaker. Because guys, you know as well as I do, Matt, the first year is really, really hard for you to make money on. There's just your ups and downs, your learning curves, your expenses, this and that and the other. But I've been fortunate, guys. I'll be honest with you again. great group of people and individuals that I work with over there, and I can't do it without them. I can't stress that enough.
So speaking of your team, and speaking of being business owners, your wife also. Tell me about your duties and her duties as well, because you are you guys partners?
Yeah,
in
let
this?
me give you a little background on
Sure.
that. So, my wife, Melissa, or Missy, as everybody calls her around here, we're country, so that's
I
how
don't
it is
think I
over
knew
here.
that.
You didn't know that?
I don't think I knew that.
You just knew her always by
Melissa-
Missy
Yeah.
or Melissa.
No, Missy.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're real, Melissa, but she's actually the majority owner.
Okay,
She
cool.
actually has 51%.
Isn't
I'm-
everybody's wife the majority owner?
You know
though,
that's-
of everything.
That goes without being said.
The cameras are on here.
Yeah.
We know how
Yeah.
it goes.
I know mine is. If you're watching, babe, you own it all.
But she's the majority stake owner in it. I'll be honest with you, she has no CPA degrees or accounting degrees or anything in that nature over there. And I'm going to tell you right, she is my lifeline over there on that side. You want to talk about somebody that's meticulous, is that woman right there, and I have to give her her props on that for sure. But she runs basically the office side of it over there, and she's got 4 people underneath her now on the office side over there on a regular basis. And I'm telling you guys, she's a penny hound, but I love her for it for sure. you
Yeah,
know.
somebody
Gotta
has to be
watch those
paying
pennies.
attention to the numbers.
But the first thing the banker asked me when I went down there and we were just setting up our accounts, our name, register, and everything, she said to me, "Do you trust your wife?" And I was like, "What kind of question is that?" My wife's sitting right
front of
next
her?
to me. Yeah. I mean, how are you going to answer that, guys?
Yeah, you have to say yes.
There's one way.
You start sweating. You're like,
So without hesitation, I'll just tell you I answered directly. Of course
Yeah,
I
good,
do.
good.
And she said, "Well, that's a good answer." And so that's the way that we structured the company. So we're a minority-owned woman
Yeah, cool.
company.
Very cool.
And I'll be honest with you, it's beneficial to us in some fronts also. Government work, school
Sure.
work, anything that you're associated with over there, it's
Ah.
definitely beneficial. So, but with that being said, again, she's irreplaceable. I can't tell you how much I do appreciate her on a daily basis as far as invoicing and billing, guys. That's critical over there because we got money going out. We hopefully will have
Gotta
it
get it
coming back
coming in,
in, but it's been great. And I tell you what, it's probably taken her 4 years of constant just grinding. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't go near her toward the end of the year because of the whole, the 1099s,
Sure.
the W-2s, everything that's got to go out in that aspect. I stay far from her in the month of January. So I haven't seen her much this week or last couple weeks over here. We're just kind of like 2 ships passing in the night,
Well, that's cool, man. That's good to hear. And for those that don't know, my little brother Kenneth, he's been on the show. He works for you, and he has for a while, and he loves it there. He
long's he
he
been
takes a lot of pride in his job. He's really proud of working for you guys.
Kenneth's been there right over 4 years. He just had his 4-year anniversary. I think it was actually a month ago, or so. He had his
I think so.
his 4-year anniversary. And so when you're there 5 years, I normally do something pretty good. We get you a nice custom watch or something over there. But it's funny you mentioned that, Jason. When I first hired Kenneth, your brother, he was like a hermit.
Yeah, he's super shy, and when you first get to know him, he's just real quiet and
So
keeps
he's
to himself.
very reserved. I used to live across the street from the guy, and I used to text him and say, "Man, you closed your garage door before I could even say hello,"
Right.
And so, but we got Kenneth over there. He's been it's amazing. He's a complete 180 from where he was prior to him starting on there. I mean, he's open his job now. It's funny. That's his job now. He's a business development. He's a salesman for me over there. Project manager,
that requires
sales.
being
You have to come out of your
extroverted.
shell a little bit for that.
yeah.
Well, you
yeah.
have to talk to people or
Yeah.
you're not getting anywhere, But
Yeah.
the funny thing of it is actually about after 2 years of really just constant putting them in those positions where you have no choice but to talk and you've got to intermingle with these people on a day-to-day basis over there. He's taken it and ran. And I'll be honest with you, he's become one of my best salesmen. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting
Look
next
at
to
that.
Jason over there, but he's become one of my go-to guys. And I'll tell you what, all those guys that work up there, they eat, drink, and sleep JNL. And I'm very appreciative that Kenneth is one of my he's a good friend of mine outside of work. We do a lot of hanging out together and guitar playing and all that good stuff, you know. But I'm just telling you, he's very, very heartfelt on his.
Oh yeah,
you know that, Jason. I'm not telling you anything, but very, very good, great guy for sure.
Yeah, and he's told me how much he enjoys it and how proud he is. But just from the outside looking in, you guys are a tight knit family, and I've always admired that. Looks like a fun place to work. You guys all hang out and do stuff together, and I know a lot of the guys over there, and man, it seems like a fun place. And if it's fun, then it's not really work, right?
Who else you got? You mentioned 4 people under your wife.
You got Brandon.
You got Brandon Smith.
Yep. You got my oldest daughter, Madison, who just graduated.
Okay, so full family business there.
Full family business.
I was wanting to get to that. I wasn't quite sure if it was.
Brooke is my youngest daughter. She's still in school over there. She's still a sophomore in high school over here, so we'll let her off the hook for a little bit over there. But I'm gonna have her pulling her weight. Don't worry, Matt.
Just tell her to quit high school.
No.
Just tell her to do sales or something.
Wow.
No,
tell her to start a podcast.
She wants to go to California, and that's the one place I am trying to definitely deter her from going.
Right on.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's too far from home, you know, college and all that, you know. Plus, well, you know, I'm not going to go down that road over there, but I'd like to keep her safely here in Texas.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
But and then Tanner, as a young, he's another gentleman over here that it's Madison's boyfriend.
Okay.
And he's a year older than her, so we worked with some of the kids up there at the high school level to give them a part-time job after school. So we've had 2 or 3 other individuals that have come through there over there to actually give them over there. Okay, they come in, they do their filing, they kind of learn from Missy on a few things over there, and then of course the longer that you're there, your duties increase, and then you're able to.
That's cool.
But yeah, we've got so Carrie Murphy, Don, John. Brandon, Madison, Missy, Hunter. Hunter started out as my, which is Hunter Sadler, which is
Don's oldest son.
Yep. He started out as he graduated a couple years ago, and I put him on our marketing side. Well, that boy just took it and ran with it, and I said, you know what, he's got some untapped potential here.
Sure.
So we gave him an opportunity to come over here after kind of grooming him for about half a year.
Cool.
I stole him away from Missy on her side. I took him over here on my side, and now I've got Tanner over on my side too. So I stole 2 of them from her over there.
Talent development.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Are you paying like part-time, or is that like internship?
No, I paid him a part-time.
Just part-time
Yep,
work?
I paid him a wage over there. No internships. I was going to
Listen up, high school folks. If you're
That's-
listening.
Yeah, that's really cool because they get a little bit of hands-on. They get some job history, and that's a lot of kids these days are lacking, man.
Well, the thing that we're doing now too is that we bought some. Well, we're developing our new place. I know Jason and
we're
you
gonna
guys.
get to that later. Shut
Okay,
up.
all right. I don't want to tell you that.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, great for the kids to get over there and get in a positive work environment.
Sure.
With me, and it's not crazy to work over there. Environment's not too fast paced where you can't grasp what's going on. There's time in there to teach. There's time in there to learn. And I was thankful that a lot of those kids that work there part time wanted to come back and work full time. You know, I'm never going to deter anybody from getting a college education. It's to each his own, but I always I'll open up that door for them.
There's another road.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be the first to tell you this. You know, I graduated from Leonard. I was AB honor roll guy, but that's as far as I took it. I don't have a college.
Well, we
degree.
talked to Coy Clements of Sidewinder Jiu-Jitsu in Whitewright, and he does his made man thing on the side where he kind of promotes to kids to kind of follow up, not necessarily a passion or whatever you want to do. An alternate success is what we ended up calling it.
Okay.
Where you made out college isn't for you. You know, you're not the college type, and you just want to get out there and learn a trade or
Yeah, it definitely was
find a
not for
job
me.
right. Yeah, you got out and did electric work, right?
Yeah, I went straight to work, learned a trade, and I'm lucky because I've had to fall back on that trade a couple times.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Myself included, Jason.
it's good to know a trade, and a lot of kids these days they get pressured into thinking that the only way they're going to survive in life is go get a degree, and then you get out of school with a lot of debt, and you can't always find a job, and then what?
Yep.
So there's another road, and that's cool. That's really
having
cool.
them learn something that's not stocking shelves maybe or
Sure.
Your typical kind of entry level job.
Yeah, I mean you're learning part of a trade, so that's something that you can
and you're
apply
learning
later.
terminologies. You're learning everything that's associated with it. So
I think the most important thing for young kids is, I know it took me a long time, is do a little bit here. You might figure out what you want to do long term.
absolutely.
So that's really neat.
And I
being
think
in the business environment too. You got to train yourself to.
Sure.
I'm sure y'all are pretty friendly and lax up there.
Oh, we are.
Compared to most offices, but you still have to have some sort of professionalism, right?
Well, I get to work with my best friends and my family all
Right.
day. You know, I mean, we're business from 8 to 5. That's I say that. Listen, it's a family still business. Like I say, it's a little different atmosphere. But I'm just saying, yeah, we're business from 8 to 5,
Sure.
and afterwards we can be friends.
Sure.
You understand? But one thing I was going to say, I was going to touch base with what Jason mentioned earlier about the whole college degree thing. Is that I heard a guy talk on the radio years ago, and it always kind of stuck with me. I mean, at one point in time in society, it was thought to, should I say, basically in the 80s and the 90s, they really pushed the college degree thing. And it may even go back a little bit further than that. But, you know, people in the 50s and the 60s, they were taught that, okay, hey, if we're going to be successful, then I'm going to be able to send my kids to college to get a degree. Well, you know, us on the other side, as we become these parents now and we see things over here, and maybe we didn't have the opportunities to get to college, maybe whatever your circumstance was in life, or maybe you weren't ready or mature enough at that point in time to think that far ahead. Well, you know, what we need to do is we really need to concentrate on these entrepreneurs as yourself over there, Matt, and these people that are out here, because, you know, again, with no degree and nothing on here, you're still willing to take the chance.
I got a
there.
degree. That's why I was doing this.
You know what I mean. I know you went to college over there, but listen, for us that didn't over here, it's still an opportunity to let people know that you can still be successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without that degree.
The degree is why I'm doing this. Matter of fact.
No, but there is Justin's right. There's most guys my age I know could tell you hundreds of stories of maybe trying for a job and you didn't get it, but a guy with a degree did. And nowadays it seems like the trend is going back to do you have work history? Have you ever done anything at all? Right. And I'm hearing stories
that's
now.
Just cycles and that you're in that part of the
the
lifetime where you're in the history works more than the degree works.
When
you were younger and you were fighting for those jobs with younger folks.
Right.
Maybe
and like Justin said, the measure of success, say in the 80s or the 90s, was can you put your kids through school? Okay, you got your house, you got your career, you're putting your kids through school. And then for the kids, it was, I got to get this degree, then hop into a career. And that's not necessarily the way.
Goes to college.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to
school
go.
is not for everyone. It was not for me. Yeah. So ask any of my teachers. I skipped all the time.
That's borderline.
I tried any thing I could to get out of there.
I didn't say I was good in school.
Did you go to college? Did we ask? Did you go to college?
No, I didn't.
Not at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Now,
what were your jobs out of high school then? What were you doing?
Well, I can go back and tell you. Here, I worked with Kyle, Jason's dad, for right out the bat. You know, I started when I graduated high school. I went straight into doing electrical work myself. I worked that. I bucked the system on that. I floated back from company to company to try to get myself. So I'd get 6 months.
Get $1 here
and
go over here and get another $1. Yeah.
But listen, I'll be honest with you. As an electrician, you come into more. Especially if you're on the rough end side or the trim side over there, you become familiarized with everything in construction almost because you're seeing everything, right, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a little bit of knowledge on all fronts over there.
Oh, yeah. I've always said an electrician is a little bit framer, a little bit plumber, a little bit of everything.
The foundation guy knows nothing about roofing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's in and out.
He's
what I mean?
like, I don't know what you guys do.
Right.
Doesn't matter to me.
But the wealth of knowledge you pick up and the network that you assemble from years in a trade.
All the guys coming in and out.
So I did the whole electric thing, Matt. I did the whole bounce from, once I got years of experience in the electrical world, I bounced over to an audiovisual company where I started working on, fire alarm systems, pole stations, all that good stuff, AVs, all that stuff is what I was doing. And then one day I was working, let me back up.
Was that Taurus?
No. Okay. It was another company out of Dallas.
That's audiovisual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know if you're part of that.
No,
there's a lot of guys that work out there.
Lots of guys that work over at Taurus. Great company, anyway. Hey, shout out to Taurus Technologies. Yeah. Maybe you can get Jamie on.
Yeah,
he can
maybe
do a little bit.
Jamie on here. That'd be fun.
But I went to work for A1 Locksmiths. I'm sure you guys have heard of them.
I'm trying to think of the jingle.
Well,
They have a jingle?
yeah, they do actually, and they're on the ticket a lot. I don't know if you're a ticket
that's
listener.
why
over
Yeah,
there.
I probably
we're
know
P1s.
Yeah,
that's
you're
probably why I
okay.
know
Well,
the
if you're
jingle.
P1, you've heard it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how it goes. I can't.
So a friend of mine got me a job over at A1 Locksmiths. Well, it was because I had the security experience and the audio vision, the AV stuff over there, and I did all that stuff with them. And so it kind of put the locks on there. Well, I worked at this company I worked at A1 Locksmiths for a 5-year period over there. I was all from unlocking cars to rekeying things
Sure.
to
I always
whatever.
thought that'd be a cool job.
You see a lot of crazy things, Matthew. I'll just
Yeah, I
say
bet.
that. I've
I
got a
bet.
lot of crazy stories that I'll tell you off air one
Okay.
day, But anyway, I went from there, and then one day I met a friend of mine that had moved to Leonard of all places, and he'd worked for a roofing company, and he comes up to me one day and says, "Hey man, do you want to go to work for me over here?" And I'm like, I know nothing of the one thing we electricians and everybody in the construction. I knew nothing about roofing whatsoever,
Sure.
And I thought I was okay with heights too, guys, because Jason that can vouch for it. I'm sure he's climbed many A-frames.
Yeah, man, 16-foot ladders, extension ladders. You can't really be an electrician if you're scared of heights.
Right. I mean, you've got to, hang a flood or pop a can trim in a ceiling that's 35 foot up in the air. That's
Then you have to
too
do
much.
it without making everybody make fun of you.
I've carried
'cause you're
ladders
scared to
up
do
a
it.
ladder and put it on top of that ladder and stood on top of that.
With a little Romex tied to the legs.
Yeah.
So I took a gamble, should I say, and that's when I went over there and really got trying to get acclimated, should I say, to
Cut
the
your
roofing.
teeth.
Yep, that's it. And then
Selling, is that like the door-to-door sort of thing in neighborhoods and stuff? Or
well, the cold calling thing is what we do.
calling?
We call it cold calling in our business over here, and I don't go door knocking on residential stuff. Again, we're a residential roofing company too, but we only roof about 80 to 100 houses a year on the residential side.
Yeah, so that's a small percentage of your
Gotcha.
work.
A very small percentage of what we do. Like I say, 90% of our business is on the multifamily. And we're talking large scale re-roof projects.
Yeah.
We're talking anywhere from 1,500 squares to 4,500 squares of material that are putting on these roofs.
Wow.
Large, massive jobs. But I get out. I used to canvas a lot. I used to do a lot of cold calling. I tried to build up. And hey, like I tell my guys today, hey, the worst thing that they're going to tell you is what?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they can't eat you and they can't take your birthday away.
That's it. Nothing personal. They're not doing anything negative to you. You're going in. You're trying to basically, tell them of a service. See, I don't say sell the service to them over there. You're trying to sell yourself to them is what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, they don't care if it's Joe Blow Roofing over here or it's JNL Roofing Contractors. They don't care one bit, But if you can sell yourself to them as an individual, that's work. Well, I like to say that I'm a good people person, I don't know how I'm coming off on the radio here. I've never done nothing like that. I'm not a public speaker by any means. But
Don't worry, there's 7 people listening to this.
That'll be all right.
that's it. Well, I hope we get more
Sounds
than
great.
7 over there.
Sounds great.
No,
But
you're good. You're good.
You just go out and sell yourself and do that, and then again from basically Matthew, property to property on there, apartment complex to complex over there is the way that I did. I'd map out my day. I'd try to hit 10, 15, 20 properties a day. Hopefully you have some success in it, and then you can spend 2 days in there, hopefully giving the proposals back over to them that are requested. So it's a process.
Yeah.
I really do think, though, that the electrical world really, really gave me an advantage over just the normal person that would have had a stocking job or anything in that nature, because, again, like Jason reiterated, you see a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you do a little bit of everything in that trade, so that's cool.
Complaining about who do you complain about? What guy's job?
Plumbers, low
HVAC.
voltage guys,
What's the biggest
sheetrock guys.
thorn in your side when it comes to your job
Oh,
and somebody else's work?
I'm going to say plumbers probably for Jason, huh?
plumbers a lot, man. Framers too. Framers get us a lot.
Yeah.
I can't go much more into that.
When you see
I do complain
I
a lot,
guess
but I'm not going to name any names.
when Jason shows up at a job and it's a rough end and you see nothing but wires hanging and you can see where the framer has taken his hatchet and cut the man's wires in half over there.
Yeah,
that
stuff
starts
happens,
your day
man.
off very badly, I should say.
Gets nasty
Oh,
sometimes, huh?
For sure. Yeah, man, you see all kinds of stuff. You see plumbers occupy a space where you need to be. Framers just don't leave you any room, and the homeowners don't care. They want a can light there, or
Right.
It's got to happen. So
Right.
I don't know, just stuff like that. Every trade, I'm sure, complains. They complain about us. We complain about them.
Sure. Goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of the what we were getting to earlier.
Uh-huh.
You got a new spot.
I do.
I've seen
yeah,
a new sign.
So you guys have had so much success and you've been growing so much. It's time for a bigger spot, I'm guessing, correct?
It is. We started out in that single suite. I busted the wall through the other
Yeah,
side
made
where
it
we
a
got
double.
2 of them. I was like, okay, are we going to go 3 wide or what are we going to do at some point in time? You know what I mean? We're going to need to move. So we got lucky. I went to church with a lady over there. She had some land come up for sale that was just directly right off 69
Sure.
there, guys.
Just outside of town.
Just outside of town. Still a great location, and they're developing around here. And so we got an opportunity to purchase that land. We decided to build our shop over there. We've got a big 60 by 100 building that's going up over there.
Cool.
We'll have 14 offices on the inside of it
Very
over
cool.
there. Nice
Cool.
conference room where you guys can come over and do a podcast inside the
right on.
conference
There
room
we
at
go.
some
Right
point in time. Nice big shop in the back that we'll have over there. And then my wife, always being the thinker that she is over here, said, you know what? We don't really need 10 acres of land to put a shop on.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? You're right. Well, what's your idea? And she said, you know what? Well, let's do this. Let's do boat and RV covered storage around the perimeter of it.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And then we'll build some storage buildings where we can fit them in over there on the rest of the property that's over there. That's still going to give us ample room to do whatever we need to do for our business over there. But I thought, you know what? That's great, because we'd always talked about kind of just listen, a little return on an investment over there one day, hopefully that we'll be able to get something back, and you know, long-term effects of it over there, great, you know.
Yeah.
But the one thing, guys, the one thing I didn't account for, I'll just be honest with you, is the amount of dirt work that has to take place to get
Yeah.
all your drainages cut and this and your flows and gutters. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a substantial cost for that stuff over there that I didn't even, that exceeded. I'm thinking, okay, this is great. It's a nice big flat
Sure.
piece of property.
You think? Yeah.
And then you get over there and mow it, and you get the guy out there, and he goes, "Oh Lord, this is going to take me 3 weeks worth of excavation over
Wow.
here to get this thing right." You know, so.
Cool.
But anyway, we're super pumped about it.
Cool.
We've got the boat and RV storage coming up, and then, like I said, the mini storage is to boot over there. So when you walk in the front door, you're basically going to have an office side over there to reach the JNL Roofing Contractors, and then over to the left of it, you'll have an actual office over to the left that's going to be
Very
just
cool.
storage related over
Sweet.
there.
Is there? There's a neighborhood coming in next to it.
There's a big subdivision coming into the west of it over there, and they've got 11 plots that they're building over there. They just cut that big road that you guys seen from side to
Yep,
side from
yep.
78 over there to.
So
Does
that
it go
kinda-
from 78 to, was that like 15?
It's down 1553, yeah.
Yeah.
So that plays into I don't mean to cut you off. That plays into what we've been talking about a lot on this show, and that is the growth that's coming our way. And it's really cool to see a local business be part of that local growth.
Yeah.
That's
Well, with the
neat.
2 new lakes coming in too, I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys are aware of too. These are 2 monstrous
what's the other
lakes
one?
coming in.
Bodark and
Well, you got you got Bodark Lake coming in, and then there's
Mhm.
another one up by
towards Ladonia, right?
yeah,
Is it
Fannondale, Ladonia area.
something
over
like
there.
the Dallas Reservoir or something like that. Something weird.
I
don't
can't
wanna-
remember the name.
Yeah, I don't
It's
wanna-
over by where Sulphur is in around Ladonia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with those 2 lakes coming in, I thought,
Yeah.
what a perfect opportunity, hopefully, to get some
Yeah.
closer boat and
Sure.
RV storage for these gentlemen. Because, listen, you know those small towns that are scattered through here to
Oh, yeah.
there. There's nothing over there, you know. But the development side of it, like you said, Jason,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just amazed. I mean, we got a Domino's.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have never thought we'd-
Delivers to Celeste, Texas.
right?
My address.
Who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
I would have never thought it. And you know, I can say this. You know, I hope that it just keeps going. I don't want it to get too big because I enjoy this town.
Sure.
You know, I'm sure you guys enjoy it at this level too. And there's something about it that always draws you back to this.
We
town.
do, and like we've discussed here, change is inevitable. It's coming. So the best thing we could do is get out in front of it and maybe dictate the way it changes.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's a
maybe
good point.
make it
Yeah.
into
Drive it.
something that we want.
No, that's a
Drive
great
it.
point.
But change is coming. It's coming regardless.
It is. And then I heard directly across on the south side of the road from where
Mhm.
I'm at right there, I heard that that's going to be another subdivision, guys.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
coming in over there, which we need some homes around
Sure.
here. We need some nice, you know, some homes where these people can move in and
Yeah.
and start, and that's where we need to be. But I'm never going to knock down. It's kind of the catch-22. You want the growth, but you don't want to take away from
Yeah.
the small town living that we have over
Sure.
here.
Yeah, we like it here.
No
I
traffic
mean,
lights yet.
I think we all
I don't want
occupy.
one.
And that's when you think the traffic light's coming.
I'd say in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You reckon where at?
I'm going to say the first one will be somewhere on 69, maybe by the high school or something.
I think you just nailed it right
Front of
where it's going
Lee's?
to be.
Probably.
Yep, that
Or
intersection.
69,
I
78.
think that intersection right there will be it.
It'll happen.
By the field house and
Yeah.
yeah.
it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
There's too many accidents there. It's kind of I don't know. It's that corner right there causes all kinds of problems.
Yeah, for sure. And with that highway right there by the school, man, it's inevitable. There'll be a lot sometime.
Well, the one thing I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but at some point in time, that school will be moving. There's just no more room for the growth.
Yeah, they're landlocked.
They're landlocked. That's exactly right.
Sure.
And so at some point in time, and I don't know what they'll do with the buildings or the facilities that are left over there or how that's going to actually work, but eventually, yeah, I mean, the Sacred Ground football stadium will no longer exist over there. It's and that's a good thing, you know. I mean, there's like 900 and something kids that are enrolled right now in the Leonard school district over there. I mean, I think once you reach that plateau of 1,300 kids, we'll be completely out of room at that point in time. And with the subdivisions coming in and the growth like you guys we've just talked about, I think it's a no-brainer here. Probably in the next 4 years, we'll have to start something like that.
From the roof and contracting perspective, what kind of growth have you seen in the past couple of years? And, you know, people moving in here that you had, had just transplanted or.
I see a lot moving in, guys, a lot, you know, because we're constantly out to these houses, whether it be a carport that needs to be added, a barn, a house remodel, or what have you. And then you come into contact with these people and say, oh, yeah, hey, I just left Wiley, or I've been over here and now I'm over here. You know, every day we come into contact with somebody that seems to be moving into this.
Well, you think it's suburbs or out of state?
I think it's the suburbs more likely.
Just pushing out.
I do. I think some of the people get caught up in that city life and they want a little bit less of it towards this direction over here. And those are the people. I don't think a lot of people aren't going to move over to this that are out of state, guys, because it's such a small area. I don't think they know it that well to say, unless they have a relative or a friend or somebody that lives generally around.
Yeah, there's not a big
area.
Draw here for out-of-staters but I can see the allure if you live in, say, McKinney or Plano and you want to push outside of the city and get some country living. I can totally understand that. And Leonard is after Trenton, man. Leonard's going to be the next step. You know.
Yep.
That's
Trenton's already seeing some of it.
Well, Melissa, you know, was pretty rural, guys.
Yeah, and we saw how quickly. I mean, it filled in. Seemed like overnight.
Right.
Anna as well.
Yeah, Anna, Van Alstine. It's all the same.
They've got some crazy growth planned from what I've seen.
They do, and their district is huge over there. You know, I mean, they're actually up another level. I think they're up to 4A now over, and you know, we're small little 3A. We're the smallest 3A. I think what are we 2A
Division 3A Division 2.
Division 2. So we're the small 3A. Well, then you get bumped up towards that Gunner, which was the larger 3A, but now they're up, you know, and I'm telling you guys, it's just coming north and east, you know, and before we know it, we'll be landlocked over here at some point in time, you know, like my dad always said, you know, the one thing they're not making any more of is what? Land.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those Japanese, man.
They seem to conform an island up there.
They make islands like crazy. Well, the Dubai, they make a bunch of land out there. But I guess at some point it'll be gone, right? And it's all going to.
So while we're talking about growth, tell me where you see JNL in the next couple of years. What are some things that you would like to take that next step? And
well, I'm like, here's the way I can best explain us. We're a medium to. I can't say we're the mom and pop anymore. Is what I should say. We're a medium-sized company.
Sure.
I don't foresee us growing a whole lot larger, should I say, on that scale where I feel like
maybe becoming more specialized in some areas or something.
I think with the team that I have together, guys, the sky's the limit on where I can reach over there.
Sure.
And I've been doing this long enough where I know where I feel comfortable. And the one thing that I pride myself on is the customer service that we can give to our customers. And one thing I think that you lose sight of when you get large, you don't have a very good pulse on your customer service and your day-to-day activities. It can get lost in the shuffle, you know, because then at some point it becomes volume over your quality.
Right.
Or it becomes, hey, I've got 30 guys. We need to get everything that you can. You see, and that's one thing that you can't – in this industry here, there's reasons why I think you don't get certain jobs, and I think it's a blessing in that point, you know, because you know, you can think, oh, I got to have this,
Sure.
and then in reality, you didn't get awarded to it, and then you see the problems that maybe they ran into, you know, to the people that were awarded the contract on, and you think, oh my God, thank you, thank
Yeah.
the guy, thank you, I didn't get involved in that, you know. So I see us being, you know, I'm not saying we're not going to grow a little bit. I think we are, but again, I think that we can continue
Start to plateau somewhat.
That's it.
And just focus and
sustain, you
Yeah,
know, sustain
yeah.
your momentum that you've got, build on that, and I don't think you really have to
fluctuate,
get back. That's it.
but sustain. Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it, Matt.
Throttle back. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
When you because there's a big tooling up period in starting any business and figuring out where you're going to go, and you got to put so much money into it, money back into it. At some point, you got to throttle back and see where that takes you. You know?
I don't want to continue working, guys.
little
I'm
bit.
just going to tell you until I'm 42. Like I said, I used to make a joke 10 years ago and say I wanted to be retired by 45. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But maybe by 50, I could take a little bit of lesser role. You understand, where I
Yeah.
can come out and get a Jeep and get some of them kickbacks
Oh,
on
yeah.
there, and you know, kick a
Yeah,
foot
there
out
you
the
go.
door, you know, or do some golfing or whatever.
So that's a good question. What's your spare time thing? You said something out back about a motorcycle.
I don't ride like I should. I don't have anybody to ride with anymore. All my
No,
buddies have done
no.
lost their rides, you know. My spare time.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. My spare time consists of school board meetings, basketball with
You on
my.
the school board?
I am.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Nope. What's your position?
I'm just a school board
School
member.
board guy?
I'm just a school board member.
Cool. Number
I'm just,
1, 3.
I'm number 4.
Okay.
And I just got back in for a whole nother cycle over here. So 1 year after my daughter graduates, I'll still be on a school board. But that's this will be my
You
second
just had a
second
daughter
term.
graduate last year.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah,
And your other daughter's
a sophomore.
Okay.
So
So you got a couple years.
I
of
got
school
3
board
more
then?
years left over here to serve out my term, and that's time consuming. It really
Yeah.
is, you know. Even though we only meet once a month, but there's a lot that goes to it over there. But the school board stuff, my daughter's the one that's still in school over there, my youngest, of course, I enjoy watching her do all of her sports and stuff like that. And then I actually volunteered to help John. His son's 11 years old, and I actually volunteered last year to help coach baseball. And then he wrote me in again today to do it again. I enjoy it.
Breaking news right here.
If I could coach the rest of my life, I would love to do that. You know, I think I missed my calling sometimes over there, but you know, that's a tough life to live as a coach over there. If you're looking for financial stability over there, I mean, it's hit and miss. But
I watch soccer. Garrett plays soccer, and I couldn't coach it. You know, some of them yell, some of them don't. I don't know if I can contain myself.
well, you got to keep a lot of that into your, you know, listen, I think it helps being on the school board too, because then when I go to these basketball games,
You
Jason,
see the other side of it.
well, you do, and then you're quiet over there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm loud. You could probably hear me on the I'm probably a little bit louder than normal over here. I've always been that way. But my voice carries is what my teachers used to tell me over here. Miss Blackerby used to say, you know what? It's not that you talk a lot, but when you do, everybody can hear you. But I enjoy that, and I
You
guess
said baseball.
baseball. Cool. Baseball is my
Yeah.
that's my thing.
You used to throw the ball back
JP was
in
a
the day,
heck
didn't
of
you?
a
Were you
heck of a
pitcher?
ball player back in
I
the day.
was. I did. That was my game. That was my sport going into school. I had some scholarships in my senior year here in Leonard.
What happened? It just wasn't for you?
I kind of messed those up. You know how life is as an 18-year-old boy.
Yeah, I know, because I just became not 18 like a year ago.
But I actually, so I got married after school, and then me and Missy.
Y'all were high school sweethearts, right?
We were.
Okay.
I dated Missy since she was a freshman in high school, and then we wound up together. When the irony of that is,
How romantic.
the irony of this is that guess what? My oldest daughter has dated her boyfriend
Oh, wow.
since
Oh wow.
the 8th grade. It's great, you know, and they're about to get a house together and all that stuff.
Wow.
But when I graduated, I got married. We had our first kid together. I worked again for the odd jobs, like you said, electrical stuff like that. Well, then I ran into a baseball coach of mine that when I played in Louisville over there, he recognized me. I was at my stepbrother's or my half brother's, should I say, baseball game one day, and he comes up to me and says, hey, are you so? And I said, yeah, I'm Justin. He said, man, I remember you. He said, well, what happened? Why aren't you playing some ball anywhere? And I thought, this guy's lost his mind. I'm 20-something years old
Right.
over here. And he goes, well, anyway, I ended up helping coach him, help
wow.
coach with him, okay, with my brother's team over there. Well, next thing I know, he says, well, why don't I do this for you? Why don't I try to get you a tryout? And I'm thinking, okay, hey, I'm 22 years old.
Yeah, I have to work for a living now.
I have to work for a living. I've got a 1-year-old baby that's
Can't
just
live on
born.
$15 a game.
Yeah.
No, I'm living in a 600 square foot apartment at this point in time. You know what I mean, in Louisville. And he says, no, I'm serious. He's like, let's try to work this thing out. So for about 6 months, I trained with him. Night, just we'd have the lights on and we'd go out until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Well, I got to the point where I thought, okay, hey, I'm ready. Well, his name is David Bonilla, and I don't know if you guys are big baseball fans.
Any relation
Bobby?
to Bobby Bonilla?
No, but here's the name I'm about to throw out to you and see if y'all recognize this. He used to be the pitching coach for the Rangers, and his name, or the hitting coach for the Rangers, his name was Rudy Jaramillo.
Yeah, that's what I thought
okay.
you were going to say.
Okay, so he was good friends with
He
Rudy.
looks like my dad, kind of.
There's a slight resemblance.
Yeah.
Like
Like at a glance,
that-
he'll throw me off.
Right. And he says, I got you a tryout. So I'm thinking, I'm shaking in my boots at this point in time, and I'm about to try out it's the Cleveland Indians is who
cool.
it was.
Right on.
So we meet over there at UT Arlington, and I show up over there, and David gets me over there, and he introduces me to a few people, and he says, hey, here you go, kid. You know what I mean? And get on out there and show them what you can do. So I show up over there. There's 330 people out there at this tryout.
Jeez.
At this point in time, I'm thinking, this is insane.
Yeah, what am
you
I doing
know?
here?
Right. I haven't played baseball since 18 years old. I've been training for 6 months over here with a gentleman over here. What am I going to do? So, anyway, I went through the tryout over there, and I will say this: it was the most intimidating thing that I'd ever, one of the most intimidating things that I've ever done, because they would cut you so fast that it was crazy. They just look at you and point at you and say, "Gone, gone, bye, see ya, done," whatever it was.
Wow.
So, no matter.
That was absolute rubbish.
So I was a pitcher growing up, what Jason said.
yeah.
And I threw good, and I was a decent pitcher. But the first announcement that the guy says to me is, he says, if y'all can't throw over 88 miles an hour on a consistent basis, don't even bother getting in line.
Jeez.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, scrap that idea right now, because I couldn't throw that fast. I hadn't, it takes time to get your arm going back in that, elasticity, everything that's.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, okay, no problem. And I had tended to go for a fielding position in the first place. So I thought, okay, great. So it don't matter if you played first base, second base, shortstop, whatever. It takes everybody over to third base to see your arm strength throw across,
Yep.
And so you field your ball, you do your shots. If you can make it through that one, you're on to the next set. Well, I keep making it, and I keep making it, and I keep making it. And then I end up in the outfield over here, and they're like, they want to see your arm strength from center field back to your catcher throw over there. Well, there's this kid in front of me that's probably 18, 19 years old. Again, I'm 22, I think I was. And this guy has got a laser, guys. I am talking about just crow hop down one step, dude, and it is a line to just smacks the catcher's glove. And I thought, oh my Lord, I'm done.
I'm gonna have to one hop it.
That's it, So I get through that process. I make it through it. You know what I mean? I did one hop it. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I had some.
Sure,
it was great, And then I go through that process on there. Then you get to hit. I did great on my hitting for some reason. I don't know. I had a wooden bat. I'm not used to wooden bat stuff.
Right.
And you go through that spiel. Anyway, I start looking around, guys, and I'm like,
There's not a lot of guys left, huh?
there's 20 people left over here.
Wow.
Well, through that duration, every time you go from spot to spot, I'd get over there and they'd say, what's your number? You'd show him your number on here, and he'd say, how old are you? Oh, I'm 22. Go to the next station. He'd say, hey, how old are you? Oh, I'm 22. Well, I made it down to the last 18 people, okay? I made it through the process over there. He said, we'll be giving you guys a call if I need anything from you. I never received that phone call over there. But I got to thinking to myself, you know what? Really, how could I have ever made it wind up in a minor league somewhere for the next 7 years, in Durham, North Carolina, you know what I mean? Wherever you want to be over there. I'm just saying in some podunk town over there playing for nothing, your wife, the baby, the whole thing over there. But the one thing I can always say is that
You tried.
thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you got out there and gave it a shot.
I tried, and it gave me the self-fulfillment to know that you know what? Maybe if I would have played my cards straight, or if I could go back and do some things different over there, I may have had a different opportunity to do a few things. You know what I mean? But like I said, I never regret. At least I can say that I don't regret ever not trying to do it over there. You know, and that's what I try to instill in my kids. Hey, there's nothing you can't accomplish. You know, I mean, you just got to try. You know, I mean, from going from who I was and what I was at a young age to being on the fire department, to the city council, to the school board, to being a business owner, to finding God and finding my family and putting everything in perspective for myself over here. You know, it was a plan that was laid in place for me to do this. Sure. You know,
yeah. But, look at you now. You're on the 12 o'clock siren.
And this is my highlight, guys. This is my debut right here. You know, and
this is the pinnacle here in Leonard, Texas, man.
It's it.
So did you play under Marshall or?
Yeah,
Francis?
Jason was my coach. Okay. Marshall was best guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He was baseball man.
Well, oh my God, he was.
You know what I like about that guy is he would set a goal and achieve that goal. You know, he was organized. He always knew. Even as a teacher, he came in with a briefcase and he knew where he was going with his
spiffy.
Lesson today.
That
you know,
side spike, you know, that come over side.
Yeah, I really like that guy.
He reminded me of like Zach Morris. If Zach Morris was a coach.
Yeah,
I don't know why he just had that kind of.
He was a 2-time Southwest Conference batting champion. Is what he was when he played for Baylor.
Yeah.
Fortunate to have him as a coach. Definitely taught me. Embarrassed me and taught me a whole lot of stuff, should I say. I mean, he went through the whole varsity lineup one time and said, can anybody hold a baseball bat right? And not one of us held a baseball bat right. We're a varsity baseball team. You know, we got juniors, seniors, and nobody held it right. But I'll give you a little tidbit about Jason. He was a catcher in college, and I will just tell you this. His time from home plate to second base was 1/10 of a second less than Pudge Rodriguez's time.
Jeez.
That's what kind of cannon that he had.
Yeah.
He played for Baylor, right?
For Baylor.
And then he was in the Indians farm club, right?
Yeah, he was in the Indians farm club for like almost 2 years.
Yeah,
I
had
say.
a baseball card of him, actually.
I remember seeing one at some point.
There was one in school whenever he came back. I remember a lot of kids were just blown away by that. He was cool,
That was
man.
a big deal to a.
Well, we had a kid on the team that was Jason Rowland. Y'all know him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now, he was the fastest kid I ever seen in my life. He ran like a 4.340, okay? And I'm sitting there thinking, Jason says, everybody line up on first base. He's catching, of course. You with me? He says, get the biggest lead as you want to over there. He'd throw you out by 5 foot. You wouldn't even attempt your slide, and the ball would be there. I mean, and you better be watching the ball or you're going to eat it. You know what I mean? But he was that quick on his play. But just the smartest man when it come to baseball and the nicest guy ever, one of the nicest gentlemen. I'll tell you what, he did so much for me because I was going through some times back then, like we all are in high school. But he was very, very good on just that anchor, you know what I mean, to put you back down over there. He even asked me, he said, you come live with me and finish out high school with me. You know, I mean, he was that good of a guy, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a good little baseball story.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you got to do that. So now you don't look back and say, man, I wonder if I could have made it, because you have an idea. If you had applied yourself and maybe took a different road in life, it's possible.
It's possible, cool. But again, I wouldn't change anything that I've done.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now,
look at you now. You got a lovely wife. You got 2 beautiful daughters. You got a successful business.
Well, thank you very much, Jason.
I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud to see a place here in Leonard doing so well. So this is the part of the show, JP, where we ask you some random questions.
Is it kind of like,
yo, I have a lot to ask, a whole lot to ask, I have a lot to ask, a whole lot to ask, I have a lot to ask, a whole lot to ask, I have a lot to ask, a whole lot to ask, I have a lot, I have a really, really big jar of questions for you. I have 5 questions for you. You must answer them. Like, when was the last time you worked out at the gym? I have 5 questions for you, but really you could pass. If the question isn't easy, make up something fast.
Wow. Is it hot in here?
You know what that was?
It's hot in here.
That was Spice World for you.
Yeah.
oh, I heard, was
Yeah,
that
it was.
James on the vocals, or who was that?
That was James.
Okay, I thought it was.
Wow. That's the first
you I
time
had
I've
one
heard that
I had
also,
one coming in
Justin.
hot today.
Yeah, you did warn me.
Yeah.
That's the first time you've heard that too?
Okay, so I'll be honest. At first, I wasn't the biggest advocate for the 5 question songs, But they've gradually gotten better. I think we may or may not have taken a step backwards.
That might have been a stretch.
Yeah.
But I Googled, in preparation for that song, I Googled catchiest songs of all time. And I had a feeling in the back of my mind that was going to be number one. And sure enough,
is that number
it
one?
was number one.
That's
yeah.
the number one song?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just on the list that I
No wonder they were so
I
big.
stumbled upon. Yeah.
Did they all have like number 2 and 3 also?
Yeah, one was
Spice Girls as well?
I forget what. No, Spice Girls, and then
I'll tell you who was a huge Spice
Rocky
Girls
song.
fan. My little brother. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Like-
Super fan.
like thought they were hot or like the music.
He had the music, the posters, the movie, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Which one was
posh
your
blow-up
favorite?
Gadol or what?
My
This
favorite.
is not one of the 5 questions, but which Spice Girl was your favorite?
Who's the one that married the soccer player? The dark-haired chick?
Beckham. No, Victoria.
what was her name?
Victoria.
Posh Spice?
Yeah.
She
Posh
was,
Spice.
she was hot stuff.
Posh Spice. Okay. You don't know Spice Girls.
If you're asking me to name any Spice Girl, I can't.
Okay.
Fair
I'd go with Baby Spice.
Was it
The blonde
Giselle
girl.
one too, or what?
I don't think so.
Yeah, see,
yeah, she could be a Spice
That's
Girl.
all right,
out,
Justin.
I'm
We
out.
have
That's,
we have 5 other questions for you.
All right, so
fire 'em at me.
this is the 5 questions. Jason started off.
All right, I've got 3 and Matthew has 2. So we'll start here and they'll gradually get a little bit more intense.
Okay.
Okay. Which of your 5 senses is your strongest? So your sense
I'm
of
gonna say
smell.
I'm gonna say my. I definitely can't say listening because my wife would disagree with that off the bat. I'd have to say my sight.
There you go. My wife says I have like superhuman smell. 'Cause I
Yeah.
can smell, like, if she puts rosemary in something, I can smell it and I'll ask her to throw it out.
I would say my smell's pretty strong. Although I had LASIK surgery, so that's pretty good too.
Oh, wow.
I'm a spotter when it comes to hunting. I'm one that I can.
Eyeball it.
I'm eagle eye out there. You with me?
Yeah.
But
I could see far out, but anymore, like I see me holding stuff out. I even brought some readers up here.
Don't
how old are you now,
sugarcoat it.
Jason? What? You're in your 30s still.
Yeah,
over
I'm
here.
38, man. I got a birthday next month though, so
Okay.
getting up there.
Okay. Well, vision can go at 30s. You know, I
Right.
guess.
That's when it starts, I reckon.
I guess.
That's what they say.
Go ahead, Matthew. What you got?
What is your favorite phone app?
Oh gosh, I'm not a big phone junkie. On app wise, I'd have to say,
Maybe what do you use the most, or what's most useful, or something like that.
gosh, guys, Bleacher Report is probably my
there you go.
go-to.
All
There
right.
you go.
Sports guy.
Add that and Fox News.
Okay.
Those are my 2 faves. That's probably, if you looked at my screen time, that'd probably be the 2 that I'm on most of the time.
There you go.
All right. I like that.
All right. Question number 3. What is something you used to think was cool, but that's not that cool anymore?
Mullets.
Ooh.
No, I'm
Really?
Coming
I
back.
said
Boy,
that with no hesitation. You see.
I'm still a big fan of the mullet. It's just kind of gone away.
Speaking of which, I nailed down a future interview. Terry Lee Chicas.
Oh, yeah. Rockin'
Speaking
Sabine.
of mullets,
Gotcha.
she said that she was featured on some sort of mullet page and it went viral.
She's
you guys
gonna
know
have-
anything about this?
No, but it was
Wow.
like Joe
I
Dirt
saw her
or
the other
what?
day, and she told me the story
I
about how
love her, man.
when her cafe burned, I guess.
Yeah, Sabine.
She was on the news,
Mhm.
and when she was on the news, somebody took a screinshot of the news, and her picture went viral for her mullet being, in her words, oh man, what did she say?
It is a righteous mullet.
It is righteous. She said majestic.
Oh, wow. It
I
is
guess-
pretty majestic, too, man.
and yet, and she's absolutely correct. But I said I'd like to get you on the podcast, and she said absolutely. So
We have to.
we'll get her in here.
How about this one? Tight rolled jeans.
Ooh, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, I used to think that was the coolest
it's- I
thing.
think
Yeah,
it-
a lot of people did, man.
I think it
remember
is
that.
cool now.
Is it back?
I think it's coming
Think.
back.
Like with the boat shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
it's
think
coming
I
back,
think it's
man.
coming back.
Oh Lord.
like a lot of
Yeah.
stuff does.
If I look at the pictures from back then, it didn't look too cool even then. You
No,
know.
You're right.
I
It
see
still
girls wearing like high-waisted shorts that looks like stuff my mom wore back in
I
the
don't
day.
get it either.
Like Rocky Mountain
don't
jeans.
get
Remember that
There's
stuff?
a name for those high waisted ones, and I can't think of
I
them.
don't
Of course,
know.
they had the bell bottoms, but
Rockies.
the high waisted, were up here.
Hip
Yeah.
huggers.
Yeah, hip
Yeah.
huggers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything goes in waves, man. It comes back. Mullets have never left, though, Justin.
Yeah.
Mullets are hot.
Well, I
some
never had one.
hot mullet. talk.
Really?
Never.
You should do that, man.
Oh God, no.
Remember the
I'm
perm?
growing my mullet
I
as
do
we
remember
speak.
the perm.
The perm in like the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. I never needed
Early
it because my hair was so wavy anyway.
Naturally.
Yeah, look at this mop. I'm not cutting it. My wife, she kind of made the mistake of saying, I kind of miss your long hair, so here it comes.
You're letting it go.
Here it comes.
Did you have a
ladies
mullet
and
in that football picture where it looked like you had a dip?
I had several different
Okay.
kinds of mullets. That was a mean face. It wasn't a dip.
I mean, it looked like it. Just the picture, the way it looked
Yeah.
like you had a
Oh, yeah.
had a dip in.
No, I got to see this photo with the mean
No,
face.
it's
over
fun.
there.
He's got a nice
Yeah.
mullet. Just
I'll
like
send it
looks
to you.
tough as hell.
I'll send it to you. You can say it. You can say the H
Tough as hell.
word.
Yeah.
We
I
just
did.
try to avoid the
Sorry,
other
I
one.
just got loose there.
All right, Matthew.
You got any weird food combinations that you enjoy?
Oh, yeah.
I like
what was the one that Elvis liked? It was like
Peanut
honey
butter
peanut
and
butter and banana.
Yeah. You have anything like
I
that?
think.
Oh yeah, cottage cheese and cremette noodles.
Mm.
It's crazy, huh?
Ooh,
Wow.
it's
Little-
out there.
little different.
That is out
Yeah.
there.
That's for my mom. I don't know. I think on her Greek side over there somehow that's down the line, and
Kind of
it
makes
was
sense.
it was probably they didn't have no money and they just mixed whatever they could in the refrigerator.
yeah.
But it's actually pretty good if you just take your noodles with some butter on it, salt and pepper, and put a little cottage cheese in there. It's actually a nice little a nice little pick me up.
Right on. We all just learned something.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to try that if you'll forgive me. Doesn't
The
sound
one
right.
thing you have to remember is this: if you open the cottage cheese up and stick it back in the fridge and you don't use it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks over there, and there was this god awful smell that I couldn't pinpoint, that's the
That's
cottage
probably
cheese
it.
in there.
Yeah, cottage cheese is not my favorite.
Is it back to me? Is it number 5 now?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Alrighty.
Sorry, your last one.
This is one that comes up a lot around here, but it's one that you have to answer. What is your very first memory of Leonard, Texas?
There it is.
Do I got time to tell a little story on there?
sure.
My first memory of Leonard, Texas. So I didn't even live here at this point in time. My dad had some land outside of, by Pike over there, off of 981, and so my older sister, she's 2 years older than I am. And so she had a driver's license at that point in time, and she drove us down from Louisville when we were down to visit my dad. My first actual memory of this up here was on the square. Was one night we came up on the square over here on a Saturday night, of course, of all nights,
It was
and
completely packed.
it was completely packed with people.
Nice.
I mean, the corner we're at right here is
Yeah.
the actual corner where I almost had my first confrontation. Of guess who of all people was Frank Ball.
Oh wow.
And
Can't
so
imagine that.
my sister was she's a good looking girl, you know what I mean? And again, she was 2 years older than I was at that point, and I'm 14 years old and I'm rolling around. Well, they start whistling at my sister, you know, and we're in this SS Monte Carlo is what she drove. She drove an
Cool.
85 SS Monte
Very cool.
Carlo, okay? So they think they got a hot chick in there, and I'm trying to stick up. I've always had to stick up for my older sister, you know. But anyway, I'm running around the square over here, and all of a sudden I start hearing some name calling over here, and it's Frank Ball over there.
Oh, of course.
So I tell my sister, I said, you know what, drive the car up over here and stop. I don't know what I was thinking, you know. Frank had to have been 4 or 5 years older than I was at that point in
Right.
time. So I get out
And
of the
not a pushover.
and not a pushover.
Yeah.
And I get out of the car and confront Frank. And Frank comes up to me and says, you know what, dude? Anybody that's going to confront me like this over there is my buddy on here. And we were friends ever since then over there. And he
Wow.
left us alone. But I never even lived here, didn't know anybody from Adam. But I have to say that was my first memory of here was seeing this square. And I miss it desperately that our kids didn't get to see
Man,
something like that, you know.
I feel so bad for kids because I got out and made friends that I never would have made had I not been up here.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about drinking on the square. I know people did. 99% of the time I was here, I probably wasn't even doing anything illegal. Just hanging out with people.
Just visiting, you know, a spot where everybody could kind of find your click and,
Oh, yeah.
and
It was
jump
your-
in. And
It was your Facebook feed.
did you get a bunch
Yeah.
of that too, Matthew, when
Oh,
you were
yeah.
up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're how old are you?
I graduated just after him.
Okay.
2000.
I was 99. He was 2000.
Yeah, we were hardcore on the square.
Yeah, we kind of caught the tail end
98,
of it. but
99.
When do you think it
2000.
went away?
Probably
then?
about 2002-ish.
I know at some
I
point,
kinda moved.
my wife, she's quite a bit younger than me, but my wife says that when she moved to Leonard, they were still hanging out on the square, and then I guess they passed some kind of, I don't want to say law, but some kind of
Ordinance.
Yeah, sure, that the kids couldn't hang out there, so they kind of moved it to B&B parking lot, and I remember
Ah.
that for a little bit, and then it just kind of dissolved. But if you don't let kids go anywhere, I mean, they're going to find somewhere else.
And where are they supposed to go now? At least on the square, you could
Right.
kind of semi keep an eye on
Sure.
everybody. You
Yeah.
know,
Sure.
You're-
Wouldn't that be easier if you were a cop? Hey, I know where all the kids are right now. They're all
Yeah.
on the square.
God knows they always knew where I was.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
watch them
I
too.
don't know how much cold beer I poured out. Me and Cody eating. I don't know.
Oh, sure.
Creech would get me every Friday. He'd pull us over and say, "Just dump the cooler out, boys, and go on about
Oh,
your
yeah.
business."
Yep.
You know.
God bless Creech, man.
Yep.
Yeah. R.I.P.
He gave me my
Yeah.
first ticket right down here.
You must have had it coming if Creech gave you
Yeah.
a ticket.
I was just going too fast. Month into my license.
He always treated me. Listen, he was hard on you, but he always treated me very, very kind. Should I
Oh,
say,
sure.
opposed
Oh,
to
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of the kids? Yes sir, no sir. You know what I mean.
Sure.
I respected him.
I deserve this ticket.
Sure. Well, I mean, Creech was he wasn't going to ruin your life over you doing one dumb thing at 16 or 17 years old, if he could avoid it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So
Square
right
was
on.
fun.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your
Thank you
time.
very much.
And we
What are you? What's your website? What's your Facebook? What's your Instagram or Twitter or
So you can find us. Of course, our website's
phone number?
www.jnlroofingcontractors.com.
JNL.
Like the letters John, Nancy, Larry.
There we go.
And
Oh, that reminds me. Can we get what the name means, the JNL? Could we get that, or is that
absolutely. I mean, it's been a secret for years. Everybody always
everyone
is it out
asked
now?
me, and I've asked everyone. I need to know this.
We gonna get the story?
You can get the story.
Kenneth said you didn't know the story.
I'll break the story for you guys right
Uh-oh.
here.
Okay.
This is breaking
Yeah,
news.
this is
This is
big.
breaking because I don't share
You gotta
this.
listen to the whole episode to hear it.
For years, people thought I had a partner.
Sure.
Okay, because you can put the J and think it's Justin over there.
Sure.
Okay, and then everybody can't figure out what was going on afterwards. They thought I had a silent partner. So let me give you guys a little props here. Actually, what that means is my daughter's names, their middle names, are Madison Jade and Brooke Lynn. So it's J for the Jade. The N symbol was gone. I couldn't pick the and symbol. It was
Sure.
already taken. So
Okay.
I had to morph the N into it. And the L is for Brooke Lynn. That's my two daughters' middle
Oh,
names is
okay.
what that is.
Very
I
cool.
think Kenneth was on the trail. I think
He
said
was.
something about your daughters. Maybe
He was on the
He
trail.
figured it had something to do.
Well,
with
that's very cool. I've wanted to know that for years, and I've heard everything under the sun.
Well, now you know it straight from the source right here, my man. And I just want to say thank you guys so much
You
for
bet
having
you
me
do.
on, man. And
Yeah,
time
we
flies
appreciate
when
it.
you're having fun over here.
that
Yeah.
was an hour and 11 minutes.
Yeah.
That was an hour and 11 minutes. It seems like
Yeah.
I've been talking for 20.
Yeah,
Right.
well, we can do
But I'm a
it.
talker, you
We
know?
can do it again sometime
I
too.
appreciate it.
We're gonna get you a picture in front of this backdrop before
Mhm.
we go. We want to give a big shout out to 903 Broadband for uploading this episode right after we get done. They always promise us some good upload speeds and some
And
sweet
they have delivered.
service.
You can find us on Facebook.
Yeah, you were
And
you were
I'm
plugging.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. You can find us on Facebook. We do have an Instagram page on there, and of course, if it's okay if I give the phone number.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Anything you want, give the email.
The phone no, I won't give the email. Phone number is 903-587-0400, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you very
Very
much.
cool.
That is it. We're gonna hold it up for the YouTube folk out
And you
there
guys do a
that are
little bit of
watching.
everything, right?
Yes, sir. We do.
No job too small, I presume.
You're right.
All right. Well, Justin Perry of JNL Roofing, we thank you very much. Have a good evening, and we will see you later.